Hey guys, welcome to Low Sodium Gaming, and we are back on episode 9. I am Rob, and this is Kris. Say hi, Kris.
What's up?
Hey, all right. So we are excited because we have seen the latest 3 episodes of Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. Did you Kris, did you get to see the third one?
Yeah. I watched it.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Watched it as soon as I get off from work. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was. So
Wait. Spoilers. If you haven't watched it and you care about stuff like that, spoilers. All right.
I completely agree with that one. So we wanted to. The subject of this podcast is what is the direction that Star Wars is going and whether or not it is the correct one. And we started thinking about it because at the very beginning when Force Awakens first came out in 2015, it was kind of going in the right direction. The Last Jedi came out. There was a lot of controversy on that one. And then finally, The Rise of Skywalker came out in 2019. And from the reviewer's perspective and from the fan perspective, it was a complete and massive failure. Now Lucasfilm and Disney is trying to do a course correction. We saw that with The Mandalorian, and then we saw that again with the video game Jedi Fallen Order, and finally this one, Obi-Wan Kenobi. So we started thinking about it, and like, is it going in the right direction? And is it like a long-term solution, or is it more like a short-term solution? We don't really know if they're going to be able to fix the long-term solution that is the errors of the last 3 movies.
So they're taking their time, right? I don't think any movies have been announced yet, have they? Like any actual Star Wars movies haven't been announced yet.
No movies have been announced. Yeah, you're right. It's only shows that have been announced.
With the shows that have come out, right? Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan. Is there another? These are the only 3 shows that they've released so far.
Those are the only 3 ones. But then we also have to think about the Clone Wars. Last season came out under the Disney umbrella.
Yeah, that's right.
Star Wars Rebels came out, and Star Wars the Bad Batch
as well.
Yeah, so I've been seeing.
Go ahead.
No, I said that I've been seeing the Bad Batch. I finished that, and honestly, I'm going through the Clone Wars because I missed the Clone Wars completely. I know that a lot of people are super fans of it. I just missed it. I didn't think anything of it, but apparently, if you're a big Star Wars fan, it's a must, and it makes sense if you see the Obi-Wan series.
Yeah, I got to go back and watch it. When it was coming out, it was like that weird time when it was coming out where I really wasn't watching a bunch of anything. So I got to go back and watch that one. So given the 3 live action shows that have released, how would you rank them? Like, which ones are you in? Like, I know Obi-Wan's not done yet, but you can be like, off my initial impressions, how you feel about that.
So I will say that The Mandalorian has its good episodes, but sometimes in some episode it has bored me. I mean, mind you, I think they've released probably like 18 episodes already. So far, the Obi-Wan series has really gotten to me. Like, that is that's the show that we've been waiting for. That's how I see it. It's so The Mandalorian is completely new, and it introduces new character, and I think people wanted that. People wanted a new cast, a new storyline, but I was left with so much. I felt empty after seeing the last 3 episodes. I felt empty. Like I didn't feel fulfilled with the last 3 episodes. I'm talking about the Star Wars movies. The last 3 episodes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Again, sorry, I know. I'm talking about the last 3 Star Wars movies. I'm talking about The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. I felt completely empty after watching each of them. And in this one, I am feeling so fulfilled because I think they're making Obi-Wan's pain so noticeable and like so understanding. It's like the fact that he lost what he thought was his brother and what he did to Anakin. He felt guilty that he trained them. There's so many emotions going on, and you can see it in Obi-Wan's face. You can see how
he's constantly. It's almost like fear, right? Like so.
Yeah.
When he's walking through, when he first gets to that city, I forget the name of it right now, but he gets there and he sees the stormtroopers walk by. He's like, he jumps a little bit. He kind of recoils back and like, almost, not disgust, but like when he sees the clone trooper begging for money, he recoils back. He's a little scared, and then like you can see like all the thoughts go through his head of like what he'd been through with the clone troopers and everything, and how all of that ended. So yeah, it's my number 2 right now. It's my number 2 of the 3 shows. Which
one is the Mandalorian?
Yeah, The Mandalorian.
I think this one just gravitates towards me because it's right now the first 3 episodes, man, they have been just so dark. I consider them so dark, especially Reva. She's an amazing villain. She really did a number on Obi-Wan when she's like, what is it? Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
Calling him out. That freaked him out, that Obi-Wan.
Yeah, it really did. It really did. Like my only issue, and I guess that they'll fix it, they'll talk about it, something. But how does she know Darth Vader was Anakin, right? Like, how does she have that knowledge? Because it's supposed to be like kind of a secret, right? The Jedi are gone. All the great Jedi died. As far as she knows, well, as far as the Empire, she knows that Anakin's dead. But other than that, like, I have no problem with her character. I have no problem with kind of how she's vying for power, because it makes sense, right? Like this, these guys don't trust each other. They kind of hate each other. I mean, Darth Vader threatens to kill her. He's like, "You're doing a good job, but mess up and I'll end you. I'll end you."
And then she's like, "Okay."
Yeah, it's part of the deal. Comes with the job. Got it.
Yeah, and I get.
No, I'm enjoying it.
Then you see the dismemberments too. Like a stormtrooper got cut off in 2. Yeah. I mean, you gotta admit, like, you thought that it was gonna be very Disney. And like when you see the hands cut off, you see a stormtrooper cut off, you're like, this is the Star Wars that I wanted. I think my favorite scene. So my favorite scene in that one, it takes 2-3 seconds. It's when Obi-Wan thinks that he sees Anakin far away. That creeps him the frick out. Yeah. And then he turns around and you see that's Hayden Christensen. That's Hayden Christensen, like in his full like Jedi uniform. It's like, oh, they're going there.
Yeah. I mean, some real traumatic stuff. I mean, like Ewan McGregor is really pulling up. I hit my computer, but he's really like pulling out the stops on the acting. He's going all in on it. So like you can kind of see what he's thinking by the emotion and everything that he's conveying on his face. So like hands down, this has been better in the 3 episodes. These have been better than the 3 movies. Just hands down to me.
I agree. But Revenge of the Sith allowed for this series to continue. So, like, I think that the way that Revenge of the Sith ended allowed for the series to flourish the way it does. You need a Revenge of the Sith to have this one. But I agree that this is better material. Even Darth Vader, James Earl Jones acting. It's like, Jesus Christ.
So my thing, right, is how they're able to convey fear with Darth Vader. When I watched the original trilogy, again, when I was watching it was in the early 80s, late 80s, early 90s, right? But to video game adaptation, these recent movie adaptations like Rogue One, he was terrifying when he opens up and he's just in there and they're just stuck in there with him. They can't even get out. It was a monster scene. And I'm watching this and somehow he's pulling the Mike Myers, Jason Voorhees trick of being in front of you while you're running away. So it's how are you doing this? I fully expect to see Darth Vader in Dead by Daylight. Right, just they had the guy from the ghost face from Scream. Vader's going to be the next Dead by Daylight character.
Yeah, he's. I felt the dread. I felt Obi-Wan's dread when he feels his presence. When Obi-Wan feels his presence, I love that. Yeah. He goes on a frenzy. He starts tumbling. He's like, I'm like, oh my god. And the funny thing is, they don't even have to tell you that's his issue right now. That's how good Ewan McGregor is at acting. They don't even have to tell you oh shit, Darth Vader's here. It's you feel it oh man, something bad is coming.
I hope so my problem with Book of Boba Fett was that kind of towards the end of the season or the whatever you want to call it, but towards the end of it, it felt like they ran out of money. And so the action scenes didn't feel as impactful as they do in The Mandalorian or the beginning of the show. It just felt, I don't want to say CW, but it felt like it was on cable TV, right? Where things just didn't make any it wasn't hard hitting that they've been building up to this moment the entire time, and it feels like people are just playing their role. They're not putting all into it, and then they ran out of money for special effects and to blow stuff up.
I think I think with Obi-Wan, I think they learned their lesson, because I think people realized that I think the people producing it realized that they wanted to see something grittier, something more realistic. The way that they made the Book of Boba Fett and how Boba Fett transitioned from a merc to a relatively nice person, for me, it wasn't believable. You can almost say that it was a character assassination. Personally, I enjoy the Book of Boba Fett. I do think that they didn't know what to do with Boba Fett himself. I think they should have just gone to the direction a slow progression of how he became from this merc with basically no heart to trying to find another purpose rather than money.
I can see that character transitioning happening. That doesn't really bother me much. It's kind of a passing of the torch to me. So Mando is Boba Fett, right? He has feelings, but Mando has taken that role of the bounty hunter. I'm the badass, put me in the room, I'm gonna kill everybody in the room. And it's Boba Fett's learned his lesson from dealing with, the other bad guys, right? He's I don't want to do that anymore. I've watched a ton of people die. The people that took me in and made me their family, they're gone. I see all the changes, and that makes sense to me. But after the third episode, it stops being about Boba Fett. It really should have been called Star Wars: The Tales of Tatooine, right? Yeah, it shouldn't have been the Book of Boba Fett. It didn't make any sense. After a certain point to even call it that. So there was this expectation of getting badass Boba Fett when really it shouldn't have been that. Boba is moving to wanting to bring Tatooine up, bring it back out of, the lawlessness that it's been in. And I understand it. It's just that's not what it was sold as. So I can see people being upset with it. I don't mind what they did with him. I don't mind that transition just because he's getting older. He has that experience. It opens up. He's crawling out of the Sarlacc pit.
But Chris, did you
makes
notice?
sense to me. He doesn't want to live that life.
Did you notice? So you talk about experience, but a lot of the times, like in the show itself, like Boba Fett made a lot of errors, but it was more errors for the sake of the story than him actually making errors. And those errors didn't feel believable to me when it comes to Boba Fett, especially coming from Mando. It's like the season 2, there was a lot of Boba Fett, and he did not make any mistakes.
Yeah, I don't know. He was, like you said, he was playing the nice guy. He was trying to be diplomatic, and it like that part. Maybe instead of everybody telling him that he had to be cruel, that he was cruel to start off with, people were like, yo, maybe you should chill out a little bit. Maybe that should have been a thing, going into that. And I like drove that conflict, like, hey, he just murked like 2 of these people, and we're gonna not really mess with him. We're gonna go with, I forget their names right now, but the main antagonists from the show.
I also think that there was a missed opportunity with the Tusken Raiders.
Oh yeah,
because they should have focused more on his relationship with the Tusken Raiders and also tell a little bit more about their backstory. I mean, the Tusken Raiders do have a very interesting backstory.
I mean, they dug into it a little bit, but yeah,
very little.
I don't know. The show should have been more than what it was. And again, like, when you take it away from the Book of Boba Fett, if you look at it like an anthology type deal, Tales of Tatooine, where all those stories kind of mingle in, and you have that big battle at the end, I think that would give a better, more satisfying show than what we got.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Again, I liked it. I like seeing Luke Skywalker. I like seeing him training Grogu. That was like the special effects of Luke Skywalker. Like, it's almost like he never aged, right? So like,
I do think they should have recast him. Sebastian Stan looks damn near exactly like Mark Hamill at that age.
It's hard. It's hard to recast someone. Especially something as beloved as Solo. So Kathleen Kennedy made the argument that one of the things that was hard is that people were having a hard time trying to accept the character. I think overall the movie was fine. It wasn't great, but it was fine. It wasn't the best.
You talking about Solo?
Solo, yeah. I think that. Now, mind you, I have little respect for Kathleen Kennedy, especially after the horrible trilogy that came out recently. I thought that was terrible. I think she should have been fired, but Disney, for some reason or another, just kept her.
So what do you think? Okay, so with the direction that they're taking with the shows, they've announced a ton of shows, right? In the Star Wars universe, we're getting Ahsoka, getting a ton of stuff, right? So what do you think they're going to do with the movies? Like, do you think they're going to continue like this weird following? Like, I feel like the Skywalker family has gotten way too much time. Like, they've gotten 9 total movies. Okay, cool, whatever. Like, let's move away from that.
Shows too. And shows too.
Yep. So, like, they started it with like Rogue One. We got the Solo movie, which again I don't think we needed.
Chris, but, here's my take. It's like this is why I think Obi-Wan is a short-term solution, not a long-term solution. They fucked up. I don't like using bad words on past podcasts, but you see me usually just like kind of tangling it. But they absolutely fucked up in the trilogy, the latest trilogy. How do you fix that? It's like you can't nix it because it's already out there. Although there's a lot of people that have been like, we need to nix these movies. So like the way that you do that is by adding a lot of fluff in between the movies. So like what they're doing right now between episode 3 and episode 4, They put Obi-Wan, they put the Clone Wars between episode 2 and episode 3 to have a better understanding of the situation around you. They're doing it with the Mandalorian with the gap between episode 6 and 7, right? You're gonna see that there's gonna be a connection, right? This is not the last. We're gonna stay in this game for like at least 6 or 7 years before they finally feel they
need to move on. Like my honest opinion is they screwed the pooch, right? Like they really messed it up. Like, you know what? I was okay with the first two, right? I was okay with The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Like, I know a lot of people didn't like it. They didn't like the direction Luke. I was fine with that. But the absolute nonsense with Rise of Skywalker. I'm not even like the biggest Star Wars fan. I just watched the mainstream stuff. I never read the comics, never read Legends. I've only read one book out of Legends. But I've been watching this stuff since I was a little kid, right? Like I have the original Star Wars VHS tapes, right? Like I have that, and it sits in my closet, right? Mm-hmm. So like I have a long time watching this stuff, and I'm not saying like they're good movies, you know, good entertainment, everything like that. But that was a shit show.
Yeah.
So like I feel like let that story just be over. Like don't tell anything more from Rey. Don't tell anything more about Skywalkers or Palpatines. Just let that be it.
Unfortunately, it's just out there. It's out there. That's the problem. I think that after Ahsoka, I think they need to wrap it up. At least from episode 1 through 6, they need to wrap it up. It's already done. The stories are told. You know, like that's
there's only so much they can do because there's limited time, right? Like it's kind of like okay, this ended and this started, and so we can tell these stories in between. So they only have so much time, not unless they make a decision to go left field where if somebody leaves, they have all these adventures on the other end.
Right, and you can definitely do that. That's the beauty about the Star Wars expanded universe. You can, you can go to a planet and just focus on that planet and a Jedi in that planet and like tell his stories in that planet.
Yeah, like they did with Tatooine.
Sure, yeah. But and that's another thing. They're burning Tatooine. Like seriously.
Oh, God.
Yeah, like it's like I get it. Like it's funny how I think I was reading that Tatooine was supposed to be a remote planet, and somehow it is the center of all the Star Wars situations.
I mean, yeah. I like where it's going. I like where the shows are going and everything. I'm enjoying them. I haven't outright hated anything. I know there's a small vocal minority of fans that really don't like Reva's character. We know what the reason is for that, and I like they're missing some good story though. Like because they want to hate her, they're missing some really good story, and they're missing some really good conflict, especially with the other two Inquisitors. Like that whole situation is like I hope we get that fight. I want to see it. I feel like Reva's gonna die. I really do. I feel like she's gonna die. Like she kind of has to, right?
Yeah. I
just don't know who's gonna kill her. Right? Is it gonna be Obi-Wan? Is it gonna be Darth Vader? I want it to be Darth Vader.
It could be the Grand Inquisitor. The Grand Inquisitor.
I don't think he's dead.
No,
I don't think
he's dead. According to canon, he's not because he comes out in Rebels. That's how his character came to be.
Okay.
So like people are like, oh, did Disney just create like a freaking loophole or something like that?
No, you have the answers to the test.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, Disney's not that stupid either, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly think, again, like I said, I think the point of this video for me was like they have the answer for a short-term solution. I think they're right now stuck in that short-term solution because they're still trying to figure out how to answer for those 3 other movies. Kris, they have to. They have to. It's out there.
And that's why they have so many shows coming out. And I'm fine with that. Whatever. I just hope that they go into whatever they do next for the movies. I hope they plan it all the way out. right? Like they have a plan from step 1 to step 3. You know, if they're going to do a big trilogy, just have that planned all the way out. So if you're jumping directors in the middle of that, if you're deciding to change something, you still have that base of what you're going to do. So somebody has a playbook of what they're going to make next, and not just scrap everything and you end up with Rise of Skywalker, because that movie is garbage.
I think what the best solution that they could do is make a trilogy that is completely, like, there's a huge gap between episodes 1 and episode 9 between those movies, like either 500 years before or 500 years after the fact, because they can. I mean, we've seen it.
Show me the Old Republic, man.
Yeah, exactly. So like they can make a trilogy like that and then base their story, every other story, around around that trilogy, like they did with episode 4 and 6.
I'm gonna throw my thought out there again, because I still want to see it. I need a Darth Bane trilogy. I want people to be surprised that he becomes I just want that. I like just toss that in there. That's my little thought. That's what I want. That's what I want. You know, that makes an excellent trilogy of movies. Like just throw that in there. I need to see that. I need him to be the main character. I need a bad guy main character Star Wars movie. I need I don't need him to show up on screen and get sliced down by the second or third movie. No, I need him to be kicking ass for 3 movies.
So for those of you that are listening, and so Darth Bane is the guy that created the rule of 2. There could only be one master and one apprentice. So in the books,
that they break constantly.
Well, because it's the Sith,
they break that
right?
rule constantly. But yeah, it's the Sith.
Well,
yeah,
it's the Sith. But in from episode 1 through 6, like you always saw Darth Vader and the Emperor. And like the master and the apprentice. Now that we have the Inquisitors are technically, and that's the thing, they're technically not Sith. They're tools, exactly.
Yeah, they're tools. Yeah. So whatchamacallit, is it Force Unleashed isn't canon anymore, right? So Star Killer is not. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Which is unfortunate, but yeah.
Yeah, so one thing that I will say, and Darth Vader kept a secret from the Emperor, the Star Killer. Well, the one thing that I would say that I think one of the things that the Star Wars has failed is the connection of their popular games with movies and TV shows. So, like, we got Kyle Katarn, who was the Jedi Outcast's main protagonist. We had Star Killer. We had other characters, the Knights of the Old Republic. While there have been vague references of Knights of the Old Republic in the Clone Wars, very vague, overall, it's like those games and those books are never actually referenced in the movies. So I think now...
I think Fallen Order takes place during Obi-Wan. So they're taking place during the same time. So, like, technically they wouldn't have they don't have to have any kind of connections. What I'm hoping for is in this next game or in another show, like, dude just shows up. Live action. Bam, he's there. Because it looks exactly like him.
Right?
Yeah, like,
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So one thing that I appreciated from the Obi-Wan series is that Fallen Order came out first. It takes 5 years after Order 66. Mm-hmm. Obi-Wan takes 10 years after Order 66. So, like, you see that tower, that black tower that's surrounded by an ocean. Mm-hmm. Remember that? Like, that where Reva first enters in episode 3 of the Obi-Wan series? That actually came out first in Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay, yeah.
So that was actually pretty cool. Now, the hope is that Jedi Survivor, the new one that's coming out, has a bigger connection with the Obi-Wan series than Jedi Fallen Order.
I hope so.
Yeah. And that would be beneficial because that means that the video game media is now completely connected to the Star Wars universe. It is referenced in the movies as well. So, like, those are going to stick. Never again will we go, like, well, we're going to have to cancel those videos. You get what I'm saying?
Let's hope so, man. Let's hope so. I'm looking for the connection, yeah.
So that's what I've been looking forward to, and hopefully, like, they make some other connection in the near future with Knights of the Old Republic, or like a new BioWare, or something that had to do with that era.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But overall, short-term solution, very good. We're not so sure about the long-term solution.
Yeah, I'm loving that, that kid part of me, as an adult, these things that I really liked as a kid are getting so much love right now. And I guess it's because, other people my age love this stuff, and they're freaking executive producers and directors and actors and stuff now. And they get to make the movies that they really want to, and they get to put the effort, time and money to make these things. And it's amazing time to grow up with that, not to have like the shitty superhero movies or superhero games. I mean, if it would have released, if that was, there's a lot of people that love the prequels because it came out when they were kids, and so I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people that love the last three.
I was thinking about it.
Because it came out when they were kids.
No, I was thinking about this, and there's a difference. So George Lucas, when he made those prequels, at the very least, he had a vision. He had a beginning, and he knew exactly where he wanted it to end, right? When it came to 7 through 9, you definitely saw an issue in vision. It's like their directors didn't have a unifying vision of where the movies were or the story was going to take you. So the fact that they started with The Last Jedi, and The Last Jedi was bold. The people hated it, but it was bold, right? But if you were gonna do this, then commit to it, and they didn't. Yeah, and because they didn't, they fucked up. And the rest of all three movies fucked up because of that moment.
There was years of speculation on who Snoke was, where he came from, who was his master, who was in charge, and then they rotate back around to Palpatine, and you're like,
because they didn't have a clear vision. Clear vision.
It's not like
I blame that on Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, I agree. But they had decades worth of stuff they could have pulled from, which they did with the name of some of the people, like some ideas and stuff like that. They still pulled from Legends, but they had decades worth of material to pull from. They could have did anything, and that's what the fuck they did. That's the bullshit they released. So, I mean, it's whatever. I'm not mad about it. We have some great TV right now. We have great TV from it though. So it's good. It's a net positive.
Well, that TV show is trying to recuperate the huge disappointment from fans. So, like, I'm, and if you think about it, Chris, that trilogy, what it did was it basically nixed all the effort that we're currently seeing in Obi-Wan, right? Like, we're currently seeing a lot of effort, a lot of distraught, a lot of pain, right? All that for nothing, because apparently we had a bigger Death Star that could destroy not one planet but 5 planets in a single hit.
Man. I have nothing to say to that because you're right. You're absolutely right.
So I think we'll leave it at that. But this was a really good discussion. We're looking forward to seeing episode 4 of Obi-Wan series. And we're looking forward to seeing the future of Star Wars, not only in the cinema, but also in video games.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, that'll be something that we hop onto when that game releases out.
Did you play Jedi Fallen Order before we fit?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
No,
okay.
and like that's when I was talking about how like scary they make Darth Vader. Like he shows up, you're like, oh fuck, right? The second sister's like, oh god, right? He shows up, she's like, oh no,
she's just frozen.
That whole thing, and like they spent, I forget her name right now, but the female Jedi that's with Cal the whole time, right?
I think Seer.
So they spend about a little chunk of time showing that she's badass. She reconnects to the Force and she does some amazing things. Just right off the bat, she does some amazing things, right? You're like, wow, right? Wow. Darth Vader shows up and completely stomps her. You're like, just nothing. Just you're nothing to me. You can't do anything to me. Like it's just, they make him this force of nature, and I love it. I love a good villain, man, because they really round out and make the story. So like people that don't like Reva, boo-hoo, that's on you. She's a great villain for this story right now.
Yeah, I don't like her, but not for the reasons of like that they're saying. I don't like her because she sucks. She's evil. She's absolutely evil.
She's a space Nazi. Like, she sucks. I will say like the roof scene, the roof parkour was a little awkward to me. Some of it was like you could tell of the rope work, the stunt work going on. I was like, I could have done without this.
And the thing is that so one thing that I'm going to criticize on that one is that you see Reva looking at where the action is happening, and she can jump far, right? Apparently, she did not make it in time.
Nah, she had to showcase his parkour skills. Like, it's like it's taking you way too long to get there. Way too long. And mind you, in this last episode, she was like, Layla's been running in that tunnel for at least 20 minutes. Yeah. Right? 20 minutes of this episode, she's just been running in that tunnel. And Reva's at the end?
Yeah.
It took you 20 minutes to get the Obi-Wan before. Like, how? Explain this to me. How is this going on?
Yeah.
So,
Reva just shows up for
I'm nitpicking. I'm just, throwing it out there. I'm nitpicking.
And there's some things like Leia, for example. She runs slow, but you can still catch her. For some reason, it takes like 20 minutes to catch her, but she runs really slow.
She does. But I mean, she's a little kid. My issue with Leia is just she's Leia. Yeah. I mean, that's who she is. I have no. It's like, hey kid, shut up for a minute. I need you to shut up. Just stop. Use the Force to make the ship go faster. Nah.
She's a little. So I have to understand that she's a little kid. She's likable. I do like her. Sometimes it's a struggle because she is a little kid. But overall, I think she's needed for the story.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think overall, like showing like this relationship prior to the beginning of the original trilogy, and seeing how Leia was able to even know who Obi-Wan was, you could explain it through the father and whatnot, but being able to say like, hey, they had an established relationship before anything ever took place. So yeah, I'm digging it.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, I think we're out of time, but this was a great talk. This is episode 9 of our awesome podcast. We're making it. I'm so proud of our efforts, really. And we are going to continue doing more podcasts.
All right. So again, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, make sure to, like, follow, comment, subscribe, whatever platform you're on. We're on all the major podcast platforms. We're also out on YouTube. So, show us some love there, and we'll talk to you next time. Later.
All right. Take care. Bye.